everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today's pick a card reading is bringing you messages of self-realization, transformation and connection from the blue dragonfly, and it is in honor of me just receiving a deck from a Kickstarter I backed, which is for the blue dragonfly oracle. You can see some cards from that oracle there for part of the choice. This beautiful oracle is done by Selina, who also did the wonderful White Fly Tarot, which you've seen quite often on my channel, and you're going to see in this because I couldn't resist pairing the oracle and the tarot for this reading. So the interesting thing with the blue dragonfly is that Danilo said that he was inspired to do the deck having seen a blue dragonfly. He talks about that a bit in the guidebook for the deck. And so I thought it's very interesting to look up what that means spiritually. I wasn't particularly aware of the dragon. I knew the dragonfly had spiritual meaning, but I wasn't particularly aware of it. So I looked it up and it was interesting. It is a symbol of self-realization, transformation, that kind of growth process. Feels very alchemical to me. And the colour blue, because the dragonflies come in different colours, is about the connection to others and communication, particularly picking up the colour blue being connected to the throat chakra and all the communication sort of energy with that. It also talks about trust and loyalty, and I thought that would be an interesting aspect also to look at trust and loyalty in communication and connection as part of one's self-realization, self-transformation, spiritual or sort of like practical growth. So that's the theme. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the card that is here as part of the choice, but two others that I don't know what they are from the oracle deck, to give us an idea about the nature of the transformation, whether it's three sort of elements of the same thing, whether it's two or three things that are all happening roughly at the same time that are part of this. And we'll have a look at what's the key messages that Spirit wants to bring you about that, and also what transformation is involved for you and what kind of communication, trust and loyalty issues may come up as a result of it. So that's what we're looking at. I will put down the numbers for the readings. Of course, go to more than one reading if you want, if you feel drawn to more than one. There may be different elements that cross across them, so you do you. But to help, the energy here, I shuffled and asked initially for the first card of three for each of these that Spirit wanted to talk about in the reading. So for the first reading, for pile one, we have I am healing. So this talks about overcoming pain, about rebuilding after wounding. So if you feel that that has occurred, and this is sort of something part of a transformation, is a healing process for you, this might be drawing you here. Or this may be part of the process that you go through in terms of the transformation. So if it draws you for other reasons, that's fine as well. For pile number two, we have veiled truths. It's about hidden secrets, things maybe that you suspect or you sense that will be part of who you transform into, and which will be maybe a bit of an engine room, I would think, for that, but we'll see what else comes with it. So if you'll feel drawn to that, maybe go to pile two. For pile three, we have the Song of the Banshee. So this is talking about a warning and danger and a red flag. So there may be sort of something that you have to really pay attention to that is going to allow you to then transform and find the right people to communicate with, trust and so forth. So interesting. This deck doesn't pull any punches. I'll tell you that straight out of the gate. So I don't know what the other cards are. So we will see. But either way, whether this is bringing you a message of a challenge and how to rise above it, or whether it's something wonderful and how to really embrace it, we will see as the reading goes through. But hopefully that helps you choose. But if not, go with just the number that you choose, or pause the video and sense in to see which reading is for you. When you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps as always are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile one, to your reading. So you've come to the reading with I am healing, and as I said in the introduction, this could mean that you know that you're going through a healing process after something. It could be also that you understand that healing on a deeper level, like in terms of, whether it's shamanic healing or meditative healing or something like that, or spiritual healing, even if there isn't a specific thing right now that you're healing from, it's all part of a spiritual development. But in whatever energy there is a healing energy around the transformation that the blue dragonfly wants to bring to you. And it does mean that you have overcome pain, or you are overcoming pain in some way, you're rebuilding. I do think that if you've come to the right reading, this is probably, well, it could be about one of two things. The first and most logical one, given that we have man on fire as well here, which talks about an interested male, attraction, secret admirer, or news and messages. Now, this does not matter about gender, so I wouldn't worry too much about the male. If that applies to you, if somebody's interested in you and that is your preference, then that's fine. But I would very much focus more on secret admirer, news and messages, like something exciting coming through, attraction. I do think that this, and with I express myself, which is talking about being true and speaking clearly and declaring, your intentions or something, this could be either you are interested in someone and it's because you have gone through healing and you're ready to declare yourself in some way, or someone is declaring themselves to you and you are needing to work out, are you ready at this point to take that opportunity on? So there's definitely a sense here of potentially something around a new relationship, which has good prospects, I think, for genuine sort of connection and genuine communication, which is a big part of what the blue dragonfly, particularly the blue aspect of it, is around. But there is a healing process that you either need to do before you can allow this into your life or before you can express your interest, depending upon how those energies play out. If it's not about a love relationship, it could be about something creative or something that you're passionate about that you truly believe in. So you could get this set of cards, for instance, if you had a particular social cause and you had actually maybe suffered a bit for it, or you had suffered and that had given you a kind of a cause that you wanted to move forward with, and now you are very much ready to start to speak your truth and to bring that out and declare what you believe. But in doing it, that's a healing process for you. So it could be either of those or a little bit of both combined. It could be that going out and being in a cause, that you've gone through something, you've healed, and you now want to help others with the truth and the passion and the clarity actually brings love in. So it could be either of them or both combined. So let's get a little bit more information for you around what the blue dragonfly is talking to you about with each of these. And we'll just go in turn 1, 2, 3. And we're just going to ask for a little bit more information on each aspect from the tarot. So for this, I express myself, which is to say something about you being really able to be clear and open about what you feel or you believe. The blue dragonfly energy is coming to help you transform and self-realize through High Priestess, Eight of Cups reversed, Three of Cups. Okay, all right. This does look like a relationship, I have to say. Certainly, at the very least, it's something that is very emotionally resonant to you and spiritually resonant with the High Priestess there. What this is saying is that you are starting to heal and come to the viewpoint or understand that you've been carrying some hurts and some emotional energies that are no longer going to serve you. And in a way, it's interesting because the High Priestess is a little bit insular, is a little bit sort of within. So I think this is definitely a double message about coming out from just feeling and going over and over something to what would it be to have what you want. So if this is about you healing from and bringing in a new, from a past relationship and bringing in a new one, or even healing, as I say, from something that's occurred to you that was not fair or not right, but you've kept very much to yourself, but you're now starting to realize the celebration can come from coming out and talking about this and expressing it in some way. There's definitely a sense of coming from within to being seen and being heard in some way. So that's a powerful message, I think, around what the nature of the healing is. So let's see what Tarot has to say about the healing itself. So I feel like a lot of it's been very insular, it's been very internal. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just I think this is saying you're reaching a point now where you can come out and speak your truth. So, or, show an interest or declare yourself to someone you're interested in or respond to interest coming towards you. So for the healing energy, the Nine of Swords, Justice reversed, Page of Cups reversed. All right, so this is definitely saying something unfair happened. This is why it's been a little bit hard to deal with it. With Justice reversed, you are healing from something that was unfair. So it could be, as I say, socially or some way, in some practical way unfair. Or it could be that there was something very unfair, particularly around what was close to your heart. I do think for most of you this is around, you're healing from a relationship that was not fair and not right. And there was a lot of anxiety associated with this. So I feel for most of you, this feels like that you are now just emerging from that, getting ready to express yourself again, feeling confident again, all of which is wonderful. But I do think that it may be, if someone is coming, it's because somebody's come into your circle that could be interested in you, showing that interest, or you could be interested in. You do need to understand there's still a little bit of healing to do. And the healing to do is to work out what it would be that you would want now. Because I feel like maybe it was something you dearly, dearly wanted, in terms of whether it was a relationship or whether it was something else, something you dearly, dearly wanted, and something very unfair happened. And it's almost made you doubt what it is that you want. And it's sort of like coming out of that energy. That's the thing. It's how you express what you really want now. Because there is energy, passion, either in terms of what you want to take forward now, or there is coming towards you. So either as a new lover or as, a partner in creativity or a cause or something like that. So let's see the energy around Man on Fire. Three of Wands reversed. Two of Swords reversed. The Empress reversed. Okay, all right, so a couple of things about this. And it's not necessarily saying this person is not good, but I do think that this is, if it's a person that's interested in you or you're interested in, it's in its very early stages. You're not yet sure whether the passion will be equaled with both wanting to go in the same direction. I think this is why Spirit is saying, work out what you want emotionally. That's the important thing at the moment. You need to express that. That brings in what you want. It's the kind of the jury is out on this person. And I think one of the reasons it's coming up as Man on Fire and then with the Empress reversed, whoever this is and whatever the nature of it, whether it's love or something else, there is a very strong divine masculine. They're very much action oriented. They're very passionate. They're very direct. So if this is someone coming into your life, it may be that it's almost a little bit overwhelming, that you almost need to express that you need some space and time and that you're healing so that they don't misinterpret and so they don't kind of almost inadvertently, I think it would be, sort of override you and make you sort of feel kind of that you have to fit in with their particular direction and so forth. There's a kind of a bit of a lack in what you're experiencing right now of nurturing here. I think if that's the case, they probably don't know what you've been through. That's what that looks like. Now, if this is you, then your healing, you can't go forward with your passion until you've done the healing. And part of it is to nurture yourself in the way that you would nurture other people. So it just depends on whether this is you or someone coming in. But either way, something has happened that was not fair. And the blue dragonfly is saying, yes, that is true. But you are a passionate person, or you draw passionate people to you, and you are equally passionate if you're drawing someone else in, and equally sort of creative, and you've got equal drive, but you've become very insular. So it's how you break out of that. So let's look at that as an overview. Let's ask Tarot, what is the transformation really required now of you to really make the most of this message from the blue dragonfly? Seven of Wands. Queen of Swords, Two of Cups reversed, Seven of Pentacles, Ten of Wands. Okay, so I think there's a couple of things that the blue dragonfly wants you to consider. The first is that you are going to need to express yourself, be courageous. It's very interesting that we've got that sort of like stepping up sort of passionate energy sort of over here and express yourself. Not so much over here. I feel over here there is it a little bit too much? It's interesting. It's like it's fallen on the sides to sort of talk about the energy a little bit more. This is saying that your mind is very clear, very sharp. You know what you want. It's just you've got to feel it as well. But once you've got those two things together, expressing yourself, which is what this is talking about, is the key. This is the core issue that you're healing, a relationship or a connection or something that did not work out, was not fair. So you need to sort of be ready to go forward with what you want. Then this is saying one of the ways that you will know if this is another person or if this is part of the cause you want to follow, or even if this is you, about how to do it, is what do you feel has the long-term effect to grow rather than something that burns itself out. Because with the Ten of Wands, with the Man on Fire, I just feel like whether it was a relationship or whatever this is about for you, either you or the other person kind of went at it so strongly that it kind of burned itself out. There's a kind of a slow growth. Let a slow growth operate. I think this is what it's saying. There's a lot of potential in whatever this is, But going too passionate is not going to work. It's going to take you to where you were before. It's more stand in the truth of what you understand and express yourself and let it grow of its own accord. So there is a lot here about communication, and that is the other thing that I wanted to ask the tarot. I just want to get 3 cards from the tarot around communication and trust. Any advice that the Blue Dragonfly and Spirit has for you around that in managing the sort of communication and trust energies that the Blue Dragonfly brings. The Magician, 4 of Pentacles reversed, King of Swords reversed. Okay, all right. There's definitely, whether this, as I say, was a love relationship or whether it was a friendship or whether it's sort of something family or whether it's, a cause, as I say, now, this is what it's saying. You have all the skills necessary to know when you're dealing with someone who's not being honest. So you're like the Queen of Swords. If you come across a King of Swords again that's reversed, and that's what's happened, you've come across someone who's spoken one way and acted another, I would say. When you come across that, you have the power to dissolve that by standing in your truth and being very clear about what you want. This is the key card, actually, the express yourself. You are doing the healing, but you're almost there. You have all the passion and you could draw it in. But the key thing is going forward, you express yourself. You back your own power and energy around this, because this is a pattern you're meant to break. If you don't do it, if you don't express yourself, you let somebody come in whatever way it is and get sort of swept up in their passion, then the problem is it could burn out, it may not grow, or it may not be honest. So the Blue Dragonfly just wants you to understand that you need to take a little bit more control, express what you want, and go a little bit slower until you can work that out. You can back yourself, though. You'll be very accurate. You're not going to need to learn this twice. It's just understanding the dynamics, so you bring something more positive in. So what I felt about this with the transformation is it is very alchemical. I think I said that in the introduction. So for each of these cards, so for each of these elements, I'm going to use the Lucky Potion Oracle, which is an alchemy oracle, and I want to see what alchemy is operating for this as well. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do some stars to guide you for each of these elements one by one. So the express yourself, as I say, is kind of the key one here, I think. So what kind of alchemy energy is the Blue Dragonfly and Spirit wanting you to consider? Infinite. Wow, okay. So that confirms to me that this is the most important thing. Infinite, you've got the Ouroboros, you've got the infinity symbol. This is definitely saying that there is something bigger around all this. So whether it's, what you could bring is the great love, the soul relationship, or if it's a cause, there's a bigger thing here, bigger spiritually. And it's interesting that connects here to the High Priestess. So your inner knowing is important here. It's just bringing that out. There's sort of knowledge, spiritual knowledge and so forth that you have that you can apply to this that takes you into this sort of space. It's a number 5 too, which is often the kind of minor conflict energy. So it's understanding that you are infinite and therefore you expressing yourself even in a situation where there might be a bit of pushback is something that is you have the power to do. You're the magician here. So this deck has a dice that you roll for whether you drink this energy in, whether you spill it and have a look at it, or whether you share it. So we'll just sort of see what Spirit wants to say about that. Drink it in. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I thought that was likely for this because this, I think, is the key thing. Drink in that you are infinite. Drink in your power and your energy and your understanding and your own authenticity. You're infinite, like you are not the sum total of past relationships or past injustices. You can rise above that and therefore know that you are meant to express yourself. Okay, so let's get you just a couple of stars to guide you in understanding that about yourself. Pile 1. Earth. Yeah, so this is grounding you. You're infinite, but you need to ground this. This is why go a little bit slower. And I think that 7 of Pentacles is a very important card in this reading. It's like you can grow and the investment will grow, but you need to ground this energy to understand that, not just be in the realm of the High Priestess, but bring it into the world. And the moon, and the moon is the High Priestess's thing. This is, draw it all down. That's what this is saying. Express yourself. What's coming through to you sort of psychically, spiritually, ground it, bring it into the world. There's something very profound about this that is happening. It's even if it's just around a relationship, it's very profound within that relationship, I think. So let's see the healing, the energy that's around the healing that you're going through. Solitude. Yeah, you've been alone, I think, or you've separated yourself out, or you need to do that if you haven't done that to then be able to go forward with what you want. There is a period of like going within, but I think this is something you've been doing, to be honest. I think this is something you've been doing. So let's see what Spirit is saying about that energy for you alchemically. Drink. Okay, it is saying to take what came from that and drink that in. And if you need it, I think it's saying, I do feel this is saying that for most of you, you've been in the solitude. It's time to start thinking about expressing yourself. But this is saying that you can always go back to that space. You can always commune back to that space. Don't feel, and it would be better to be alone than with the wrong person, I think is what this is saying in whatever, again, we're talking about. So let's see the stars to guide you around the healing. Chiron, yeah, healing. You're doing it really well. You're actually a natural at it. And you have to sort of like, the Chiron was the wounded healer, healed everybody else rather than themselves. So do think about that, particularly if this is around a cause as well, that you take the time out to heal yourself. And Pluto, yeah, major transformation is going through here, and major power coming up. You're very, very spiritually connected, I think. Pile 1, and even though I think most of you this is going to be playing out in a relationship, I think that this is very profound on that sort of level. So then let's have a look at this passionate energy that could be coming towards you or could be you, but it's the one that you have to handle carefully. I think you have to be able to kind of work out what to do with this and the timing and whether it's what you want going forward. So the alchemical energy around that, patience. Okay, it's been pretty consistent, isn't it? Don't rush it. Don't rush it. I think that's pretty simple within the context of this. Let's see what Spirit sort of says about that. Yeah, drink it in. All of these are all things to really involve. You are infinite. What you have, whether it's what you have to give in terms of your heart and your relationships, if it's that, or your cause, is infinite. It's very transformative and it's very spiritually deep. But you need time out for yourself, and you need to be patient. Like this is something big, a big relationship, big things that you do. You can't rush it. And that's the one risk that you have of sort of like overheating it yourself or letting someone else do that. So let's see the stars to guide you around that. Third quarter moon, the release, out with the old and in with the new. Yeah, like don't repeat patterns. I think this is what happened before, and whatever this was, that you got overly passionate or let somebody else be the one who kind of dictated what that looked like, and it wasn't right for you. So this is to let that energy go. And Mercury, your communication skills, that's how you keep everything alive and passionate, even when you're being patient, even when something is for the long haul. So that's all I think quite clear here. It's really saying that you are healing from something that wasn't fair. It is time for you to understand your infinite sort of power, energy, all the things that you should be, so that you can meet the right person at the right level with the right power. But it needs to happen gradually, and you need to be use all your kind of magician energy, sort of mercurial skills here to make something pace in the way that you want. So to finish off, I just wanted to get a card of practical magic for you, which makes a lot of sense, and some magicians come up here to bring it all together. New beginnings, the Lady of Air. Yeah, it's all about communication. It's all about what you believe. Remember the Queen of Swords that we had? This is about you knowing what you want and expressing what you want. This is, again, it connects to that. I also think the yellow there is like the solar plexus chakra. This is your personal power. The person is something about air element, expression, communication, all of those sort of things. It's very powerful for you. But this is about you meeting whatever this energy was. I think it was overwhelming before, but I think you will meet your equal or be able to take your passion to the right level if you're just patient and discerning. So I hope that resonates for you, Pile 1. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share, I'd love to hear in the comments. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading that in some senses had the most mysterious of the options, I think, which is veiled truth. It talks about things that are not said, hidden secrets, inner research, inner search itself, sort of levels of reality, even with the kind of like the checkerboard floor, that sort of concept of duality, balance, all of those sort of things. And it doesn't surprise me to see the other cards that came with this. This is a very spiritual reading. I'm saying it right out from the gate. It may well have elements that play out very practically, but this is very spiritual. So certainly if you felt that, if you felt a drawing towards the numinous and the kind of higher levels and the understanding of the mysteries, then you've come to the right reading. Because the other two, I mean, it's really interesting. We've got the universe, the highest ideal, unconditional love, universal connection, and sometimes blind faith. So we will be looking at whether or not there could be something here that you need to be aware of, where something is hidden and you need to sort of reassess something spiritually. But certainly otherwise, there's sort of something about the mysteries here. And then we have spirit has my back. So, spirit guides, being around protection, help, reassurance. So I think this is really Blue Dragonfly wanting to talk to you about the fact that you are on the pathway to unveiling something very deep. And it could be something within yourself about who you are and what your spiritual mission and spiritual development is. It could be something about a new spiritual approach. It could be understanding something within an existing spiritual area that is, say, with the blind faith element that needs to be shifted, or you need to shift from. It depends on how that plays out. But this is definitely very spiritual. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to firstly get some tarot for each of these elements just to see a little bit more. Then we're going to have a look at the transformation involved and the kind of communication, trust and loyalty involved. All of which will be very interesting when you're dealing in the numinous and you're dealing in places where people could believe things that are not true or could use beliefs in a not good way. And we'll just see what comes out of this. Who you trust and so forth, and how you transform and what you move towards is, of course, very, very important. But what I would say with this group is if you've been drawn to this, you're very much a spiritual person. You're very much on a spiritual quest, and I would suspect very developed if you're getting to this kind of level. So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So we're just going to pull 3 cards from tarot for each of these for a little bit more information on each of the elements of the transformation and self-realization involved. So for the universe, which could be universal connection, universal downloads. It could be about some sort of unconditional love that is within a relationship, but it's certainly about connection on a very, very wide and broad level. So we're going to be looking, when we look at like the trust and communication aspect, I think for many of you this is like telepathic, collective unconscious sort of connection as well. But let's see what the universe is bringing you. Ace of Cups, 8 of Wands, 9 of Cups. Wow, okay. It's lovely. Whatever this is, it's going to be lovely. So I don't think for most of you that this is about moving away from something that was wrong. I mean, it's a possibility that for some of you with the 8 of Wands, this could be escaping from something that was not the truth and was just blind faith to really connect with your heart and with your dreams. But, the Ace of Cups and the 9 of Cups with the 8 of Wands, this is speed to go towards your dream. And, it could bring in love with the unconditional love. That could definitely happen. But beyond that, it's like I think the Ace of Cups is a blessing around all these things and is a beautiful distillation of unconditional love. I feel like some of you literally like this dragon flying in the cosmos. There's a connection to the divine. For some of you, this is very mystical. You're a very mystical person, a mystic in the classic sense of mysticism, where love is for the divine and that connection. So that's definitely there. If any of you are feeling that as part of your self-realization, this is a very big yes that that's the case, and it's part of what will bring you your bliss, as they say. But wow, there is a speed. You are actually, I feel like many of you connect into the collective unconscious. It's a bit like hooking into a master AI computer, and you get information very quickly, very accurately and very quickly, and you feel it. Like it's like what you emotionally feel. Your emotions are very accurate. They aren't, for some people, they really need to process emotional stuff through their mind, or it gets a little bit confused. I think for you, it's a very clear channel. Your heart is a very clear channel. And that could be good if we're looking at veiled truth, because like what is hidden, what is different that is coming up that you're going to sort of see through this connection on a kind of collective unconscious level, I think. 6 of Wands reversed, 6 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles reversed. Okay, now we are starting to see something that suggests that part of this is moving away from something that was not working for you. This feels like, as I say, they're very accurate sort of internal radar from your heart, and you move very quickly when you operate in that level. But I think there is a bit of that blind faith sort of thing. Not for you. I think I think you haven't been recognized in some way spiritually. And but you are now working out what that means. You're on a clearer path, and you know that the loyalties that you maybe had before were not the right loyalties. So there is a shift. There is a shift showing up here now when we connect the two and we get a bit more information. So for most of you, part of you really finding out the truth and really connecting to this will require you to shift away from old loyalties in one way to find new loyalties, to find the new direction. It may also be you saying that you don't put much store by being seen, like you would rather be on the journey than be seen as a spiritual leader. So again, it's sort of like you might have all this sort of like ability, and you might have this very strong heart connection to the collective, but this could also be that you kind of keep it a little bit secret. You're not showy about it. So it just depends. But I think for some of you, you are shifting away from something where you weren't recognized towards what you will be recognized for. Then Spirit has your back. So you know Spirit is watching over you here, and that kind of makes sense if you're connected in via the heart. But let's see what else we get about that. Ace of Wands. Wow, there's a double blessing for you around all of this. The Hierophant. Oh my goodness. You people are interesting. And the Three of Swords. Yeah, okay. You're definitely shifting away from something, I think. Old conventional ways of doing things and so forth. You're shifting away from that. I think for most of you anyway, there's a slightly different way I could interpret this, which I'll go into. But I do think for most of you, Spirit is going to have your back when you're moving away from something conventional. You're moving towards something that is more passionate, something that is more creative, something that is more of the heart. This feels very structured, like being in a very strict religion or something. You're moving away from that, separating from that so that you can be truer to who you are and your passion and your love in some way. So I think that's the key message for most of you. But it is also possible that this is you separating within yourself to kind of like, or separating from your own kind of belief structures to find the belief structure that you could commit to as well. So that's possible as well. So, but I also think with the Hierophant here that you have some very powerful spirit guides. And in fact, this could be suggesting that some spirit energy is leaving to bring in new spirit energy. I think this happens, that sometimes we have guides that come and go. So there could be that. There could be a very new and powerful guide coming in. But it's has something to do with separating from the old so that you can bring that in. And it's interesting, this says superior help. So I think maybe there's a stronger guide coming in to support what's coming in here for you. Very, very interesting energy. So let's have a look a little bit more about what is the transformation overall that is involved for you to self-realize at this point. Pile 2. 5 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords reversed, 4 of Swords reversed, the Devil, Ace of Swords. Wow, you've got 3 of the Aces here. All upright too. Aces are blessings regardless, but they're particularly blessings upright. So this is over and over saying the same thing, I've got to say. Like, I really do think you'll know whether you're in the right reading. This is definitely saying you've been somewhere around beliefs and stuff, but they weren't of your heart, and there were truths that were hidden because of that, or that were only to be given to the elect, but there was something not quite right about that. But I think this is saying that you had felt to make a decision would make you feel too alone, but your transformation now is that you're realizing you can't keep these things veiled anymore. You can't keep the truth veiled anymore because what you're getting is too powerful. So you have to liberate yourself. You have to liberate yourself from patterns, obsessions, things that could weigh that down, because new energy, new ideas, new everything, like new heart, new passion, new ideas are all coming through. So, and there's a clarity to these. It's saying it over and over, but it's right at the beginning. It's like something new. So it's not going to be with the same people or the same creed or whatever. There's something shifting. You could take things from the past, certainly, into the new thing, but you've also got to separate in some way for this transformation to occur. So therefore, let's just ask for 3 cards about what issues around communication and trust are important in you self-realizing this way. Pile 2. 8 of Swords reversed. 9 of Swords. Wow. 7 of Pentacles. Okay. There's been a lot of anxiety around this, I would say. But And it's saying you need to release yourself from that. The interesting thing about the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords, the Eight of Swords reversed is sort of separating out and releasing yourself from sort of like almost self-imposed sort of mental prisons or whatever. And the Nine of Swords always comes up when we worry about something more than we should. And the reason the swords are difficult in the latter stages of the suit is because we can imagine things much worse than they actually are. Whereas, with cups, we just feel what we feel, and with wands, we just sort of have the passion or the energy that we have or we don't have, and so forth. So there is something here around, there's going to be some pushback, there's going to be some agitation. You just need to understand in this that where that occurs, that tells you that's what to separate and move away from. And where there is understanding of what you do, that's where you can build things. Where there is an openness to the new, that's where you can build things. Ultimately, you will find the new approach and the new people that you can invest in and you can trust. But I do think there's a period of time where you're going to get some pushback around this, either sort of very literally if you're in a group, or like it could be that even within yourself you're pushing back. Are you right? Is what you're coming through real, or is it a delusion? There's all those sort of things, because this is very, very powerful, and you need to go through that process. So to help you with that, what I want to do is I said in the introduction that I feel that the sort of message of the blue dragonfly, the energy there is very alchemical. So I'm going to use a deck, Lucky Potion Oracle, for each of these elements to have a look at the alchemy that's involved for you. And then we're going to have a look for each of them as well around some stars to guide you as well. So this is core. This is like the new universal consciousness connection that you have. What is the alchemy of your transformation that Spirit really wants you to focus on when you're connecting into this? Passion, yeah. And that's, I think, why we've got like the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups as the first two sort of like aces that came up. Like, what is your passion? What is your heart? That is the thing. Like, I feel like it almost feels like someone who's been cloistered away in some sort of like learning and researching about things spiritually. And now it's like, well, what do you really care about? Like, because that's going to take you in the right direction. Anything else kind of like cloisters you away. You need to separate out and be who you are, even if it makes you feel a bit anxious or people push back a bit, because that's where the growth is. Now, this deck has a dice that shows either drink in the energy, spill it and only take what works for you, or share it. So let's just sort of see the passion energy, what Spirit is suggesting here for you. Drinking it in. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. This is very key. You are very connected to the collective, and you will find in that your heart and your passion. You're meant to really drink that in. This is very core at this point. Don't doubt yourself. Let's see what star sign or star energy, astrology energy can help you with this. Water. Well, what a surprise. We've got the Nine of Cups, the Ace of Cups, then we've got passion. Like, so there's definitely a sort of sense of your emotional core is the thing to pay attention to here. And Pisces, yeah, very, very spiritually connected. And see, that's very interesting, because Pisces is the 12th zodiac sign. So what it means in a way is that all the other zodiac signs you've kind of gone through the journey of all the other zodiac signs. So it is the collective unconscious. This is why it's the 12th house, all of those things. So you are very, very psychic, very, very spiritual. And so with that, sorry, I just had to pause because there was a garbage truck outside that was making quite a lot of noise. So this, I think, is very much wanting to say to you that your heart connects you to the collective unconscious, and drink in that passion, because what you're getting is real. I think that you might have self-doubt. I think that you might feel that other people know more spiritually or something like that, or it's all about, like what, like texts people have read and, what, disciplines they have learnt, but you're actually a natural. This is what this is saying. So let's see then the veiled truth. What is it either within yourself or in the situation that you find that you're going to bring to the surface? What is the alchemical energy around that? Protection. You see, you are protected. It says over there. So there's something. You're going to be finding out something from this that, as I say, shifts you away from some old way of thinking, behaving, believing, or whatever. And it could be a little bit confronting, I think, but this is saying protection is around you. So, spill. Okay, this is saying, with spilling, that you need to have a look at what within your spiritual realm, your spiritual practices, the people that you connect with, whatever it is, your belief structures, what truly protects you and what doesn't. And this is saying something new is coming in, an even more powerful guide is coming in, So it's saying that there's something about your beliefs or the people that are around you that you might have thought were protective that aren't. You need to look at what do you really feel? What does your heart tell you about that? Let's have a look at the astrology that can help you around that. Libra, okay, it's all about balance. Where you can't, and this is this card, remember it looks like balance, it looks like duality. It's all about balance. Where is there balance and where isn't there balance? So now I've, of course, mucked up my nice pretty spread here, put that back there. So think about that. There's thought, you can put thought into this and what is just, what is right. It could be that you are around people who claim to be very spiritual, but their actions are not spiritual. They're not fair in some way. Anything like that can tell you that that could be the energy or the issue that you're dealing with. Also have the third house, yeah, communication. So yeah, the communication energy, it's pointing to this. There is the possibility to find the longer term thing that's balanced and to find the right protection, but there's some anxiety around this at the moment. It's just there's something not quite right, and that's what you've got to kind of bring to the surface. Pile 2. So as I say, there's a even stronger protective energy coming in. Spirit does have your back. So let's see the alchemical transition, transformation energy around that for you. Patience. It's interesting that came up for one of the others. So yeah, things take time. You need to be patient to allow this to come through, to get the messages from the new sort of spirit guide, all of those kind of things. And because we had those three aces, triple ace, this is new. You're starting something new. You need to allow yourself time for it to really evolve. So, and this says, yeah, drink it in. You know, like, and like I find it funny because I'm a really impatient person. So when I say drink impatience, there's a side of me that goes, oh. So hopefully you're a more patient person than me, but certainly this is something that's meant to grow and you're meant to give it time. So let's see the astrology that can help you be patient if you do struggle with that in the way that I do. Conjunction, there's a connection. I think this is a connection to the spirit guide. Could be other people that represent that energy and who you can trust moving forward. And Cancer, yeah, protection again. This could be family, friends, any soul family, spirit family, all of that kind of thing. I'm actually going to deal out and see what the planets are around the conjunction as well, just for any other information that we can get. Pluto, yeah, big transformation. There's a change in who you're going to connect with, either spiritually or in terms of life. Pluto and Saturn. Okay, all right. And this fits this. This transformation is profound, Pile 2. It doesn't surprise me because it's so spiritually strong. This is saying the old order is shifting and the new order is coming in, and it will take patience and time, but it will be worth the change. But yeah, there's a change. There's a shift, definitely. Like this could be leaving one kind of religious belief to move to another spiritual belief or something like that. It's something very profound about this. Could potentially bring in a relationship. If it does, it's one that's massively transformative, but also which is very karmic as well. But this feels more like a spiritual thing and leaving spiritual groups than it does a personal relationship. I also feel if this is talking about the connection with the spirit guide, this is a very powerful spirit guide, like very powerful, very ancient. Okay, so to finish off, I just want to get you a card from the Practical Magic deck for your magic that you bring to this process, which I think is profound looking at this, but let's see what else Spirit wants to say and the Blue Dragonfly wants to say to conclude your reading. Feel your emotions, Lady of Water. Okay, yeah, this is the key thing. This is the key one. You are really connected to the collective unconscious, very much on an emotional level. Though it's saying that when you really start to work this out, you process it on an intellectual and communication level, but really connected. This probably suggests, when we're getting that kind of energy of the Lady of Water here and connecting back to what looks like a feminine sort of collective unconscious, I think that it's probably a divine feminine spiritual guide energy that's coming in for most of you. But in any case, it's saying, yeah, this is where it all is. This is the heartbeat of it, Pile 2. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading, which, as I said, had a bit of a kind of a warning within it. So I'm thinking for most of you, unless you normally come to pile 3, or that's just kind of what you intuitively felt to be drawn to, there is sort of something you're a little bit concerned about when we've got warning, pay attention, danger, red flag, because the Banshee, of course, was a figure that sort of made a lot of noise when things were sort of coming up as a warning and so forth, and was a bit scary. The interesting thing is that I think for most of you, there's two ways that I could read this, and I think one is the primary way, but there is also a secondary way, and we'll see what we get as we go through. For most, I think this is about you have some special gift. This talks about revelation, find the truth, unpredictable offering, but I think it's talking about a gift that you have spiritually, sort of, or in some other sort of more practical way, that could bring you great wealth, great ability, great manifestation. With gold here, eye on the prize, opportunity, financial freedom. I think there's a very strong feeling here that there is something that you could very much use that could really alchemize your life and transform your life into one where you feel very financially or materially free, and that you're abundant and all of those sort of things. But there's a bit of a warning about the step from here to here. So that could be, and we'll see what this is saying about the warning, because it could be about who to trust. Remember, trust and communication is part of this. It might also be about, does something look too good to be true, and therefore maybe it is, and you need to recalibrate your gifts to get the outcome. But there's something like that. For others, it could be a spiritual energy. This could be you on a spiritual process of using your gifts spiritually to alchemize, to reach gold, to reach the alchemist, was turning base metals into gold. That was an allegory of spiritual development. But there, again, if that's the case, there could be something here. It's like, is there a warning about that journey for you and your gifts and how you reach that? So either way, and we will see what we get with tarot, and it might be a bit of both. I think this is saying there is a real opportunity with something that's very special to you, and something that is almost being revealed to you, your understanding about yourself. You could alchemize to the true transformation, the true manifestation, but there's a warning. There's a warning to be aware of. So we'll have a look at what the nature of that is. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some tarot for each of these elements, just to get a little bit more information about what the blue dragonfly is saying here. Then we'll have a look at what the transformation is, and also what communication and trust issues are involved. So for the gift, so as I say, this is about revelation, finding the truth. This could be something, an aha moment. This could be a download, like literally that could be a download in your sleep or in the sort of liminal space. But I think it could also, I think for many of you, this is a gift that you have, or gifts that you have. So let's see what tarot wants to say about this energy around your self-realization and transformation. 5 of Cups, King of Swords reversed, Ace of Wands. Okay, all right. So I think I think this is what this is saying. You have a gift, like telepathy, prophecy, or something like that. You've got a sense about something, and you're not wrong. Doesn't mean you can't reach this, but you need to really listen to what that is saying, because this is saying there's a great deal of passion and energy towards something. It could be towards a relationship, it could be towards something in your spiritual development, it could be towards, and I think for many of you it is, towards some sort of financial or material outcome. And you've picked up already that there's a risk of something not being as good as it seems. You can feel it. You can sense it. Like telepathically, there's something or someone around this that is not what they appear, but they could bring a lot of passion and energy, but you can almost sense it before it comes. You're quite prophetic, I think, quite precognitive. And that's a gift that you have, which is to bring you this message of being careful, because it looks great, but there's something that you need to be aware of. So let's see what the Song of the Banshee is wanting to tell you. What is the danger here? And as I said in the intro, this deck doesn't pull punches, but remember, this is the outcome. There is, if you heed this, you can still get the gold. You can still get what you are looking for. But if it's, say, a relationship, it may not be with the person right now. It might be with the right person. So let's see what the Song of the Banshee wants to say. 8 of Cups, 3 of Cups reversed, Knight of Pentacles. Oh, wow, this is going to be quite complex, pile 3. Because if I read that classically, I would say that it's saying there's a risk that you move away too quickly from something that you should be committed to because something goes wrong. If this was a relationship, I'd be saying that there might even be two people to choose from, and there's a risk that you might actually go for the one you shouldn't trust because they appear to be offering more than the one that's more dependable. If it's around some sort of financial prospect or something, it could be that there is still something here that you could work with, or there's two options and one again that goes slower. Walking away from that is the risk because there's something that appears like a get-rich-quick scheme. Like that could be the energy operating here, but there's something about it is something you're meant to patiently see through that may have a bit of a blip on the horizon or may not be as passionate and interesting, but there's something like almost like kind of fool's gold around this, and there's something about the real gold here, but it doesn't appear to be that. It's not as emotionally interesting, or it's been tricky or something like that. So this is really trying to work out what the authentic truth is here, and you kind of know, but it's not. You may emotionally not want to sort of like hear this. So let's have a look at the gold, because you're meant to reach the gold. It's just this is the potential hiccup on the road that the blue dragonfly wants you to know about. So the gold, 6 of Wands, 2 of Swords, 4 of Wands reversed. Okay. So this is saying to me that you will reach it. You are meant to reach it, but you'd reach it by making this decision now, and you're not going to have all the information that you need, and it's not going to necessarily be a popular decision. So if this was around like kind of like some sort of work project or something, it could be that you decide to stick with something that is either yours or is a slower thing when everybody else is wanting to rush, but in the end you'll be proven right, even though you might have upset people along the way. If this is a relationship, then it's almost as though making the decision that will ultimately be the thing you can commit to. There may be others around, friends or family who don't really understand it. There's something about a necessary, difficult choice that allows you to achieve this. So that's interesting. So let's see a little bit more about the overall transformation that these three energies bring together. Remember, you have the gift to know what you're doing here. It's just that you don't really like what you're getting. And you know that you're going to upset some people, but you can still achieve it if you pay attention to your inner knowing, pay attention to your gift. So let's see the transformative energy. The Hanged Man, 7 of Swords reversed, the Moon reversed, the Sun, the 7 of Wands. Okay, yeah. Like this in a sense at best will be like a validation for what you know, even though I don't think you want to know what you know. So I'm sorry, pole 3. But this is saying that realistically that you can't kind of do it all, that there's a sacrifice that's necessary. Like and a different approach is necessary. And you really do know this because it's all coming up to you, probably a lot of it through the liminal space and through your own psychic ability, but things are becoming more and more clear. And I don't think, as I say, you've got to kind of have a almost detached acceptance of that, hear the call of the banshee, because the only thing that's an issue for you around your transformation, you're meant to head towards this, towards the gold, towards self-actualization, your life path, is a lack of courage. So believe in what you're hearing and believe that you are meant to reach this, because it is saying as long as you make that difficult choice, you will reach it, even if it upsets a few people. You're meant to be on your life path. So this is a complex situation because, as I say, you absolutely know. It's one of those sort of things where you think, oh, I hope this isn't precognitive. But it turns out that it is. But how you handle this, you are meant to have victory in the end. You are meant to achieve something. So let's just ask the 3 cards around sort of communication and trust issues to bear in mind. 5 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups. Okay, all right. So this is saying there is going to be conflict around this. Could be internal conflict, but I think it's more likely to be conflict with others because this looks like it's a choice between 2 options, and there's an option that maybe is going to be slower and is a bit less exciting, but it's really the right one, I think, by the looks of things. So there is going to be some conflict, but it's only going to be minor. Understand that you're more than able to deal with that, that this is giving you the right foundation and what you should be sort of trusting and building on, the thing that maybe takes a little bit more time. It's also saying that if you stick to that, not only are you going to achieve this, but you're going to also bring the right people into your life and possibly love into your life if that's something that you want. And if it is a choice between two, then if you follow the one that is more dependable, even if it takes a bit more time rather than the flashy one, then you are going to have the love that you're looking for. So that's also a promise for you. If you just sort of like steel yourself against whatever the sort of pushback is and do the slow build, you're going to succeed. So it's a tricky energy, I think. So one of the things that I said in the introduction, excuse me, is that I feel like the messages of the blue dragonfly, because of the nature of that symbolism, are very, very alchemical. So I wanted to get from the Lucky Potion Oracle an alchemy energy and what to do with it for each of the elements. So for the gift that allows you to know, the warning that you already sense, and then the goal that you can achieve. So the alchemy around your personal gifts. Recovery. Okay. So I think one of the things about you is that in terms of these gifts, you do have a sense, you do have a radar, and I think that it's almost as though it takes quite a lot out of you and if you think about it, the banshee makes a lot of noise. So it takes quite a lot out of you when you get this. You're meant to kind of use this to recover. And also I think recover what is your ultimate goal, what you want. But it's not easy. So the downloads that you get aren't necessarily easy. Just like this reading isn't easy, to be honest. I feel like of the three, this is the one that's the most challenging. Has a lot of prospect to get to gold, but it's challenging. So I think this is sort of saying there's an energy about how you protect yourself in all of this, because you're kind of like an open channel for information. So let's see what Spirit says. This has a dice that is either drink the energy in, spill it and work out what you want to keep, or share it with others. So the energy around the recovery and your gifts, we have drink it in. Yeah, like see this as, even if it feels, I feel like I need to say that sort of thing, like the what's the name of that song, A Spoonful of Sugar, that kind of concept, get the medicine in. There's a medicine in understanding and opening up and seeing this. Drink that in. It will actually recover what it is that you're trying to achieve. Otherwise you potentially could sort of like shut that off. Let's see what stars can guide you in using this gift properly. Third house, so how you communicate with others, very important. You can't just keep this to yourself, really. You have to kind of speak a truth or do something. And second house, yeah, because it's to bring in the life that you want. And the life, second house is all about manifestation, but manifesting in line with your principles and your values. There's something, as I say, it's almost like a get-rich-quick scheme or an idea or whatever that really is a little bit sus, and you know it, even though it sounds really nice, and you know ultimately that you won't be able to achieve really the full life that you want with it. So this is just communicating what you understand about that. So then with the banshee, the alchemical energy about understanding the warning of the banshee here. Impulse, yeah, it's like, do you act on impulse or you don't? At its best, I mean, if you had a banshee screeching in your ear, that'd kind of make you impulsive and make you do something. And if it was an impulse towards understanding the warning, then that is good. If it's the impulses to sort of like go towards what it's warning about, then that's another matter. So let's see what energy around impulse you're meant to do. Drink it in. Okay. I think this is a dual message, though. I think this is saying that if the impulse is towards following the message here, even if you feel uncomfortable about it, then drink it in. But otherwise, understand that this may be a warning that you are drinking in an impulse that's not going to work for you. So it really depends on the situation. Let's see the stars to guide you, pile 3. Chiron, there's something about healing here. Something to heal within yourself or within the situation. It might in fact even be a kind of impulsiveness of in your nature that you need to heal to be able to really achieve what you're trying to achieve. And Taurus, yeah, which is the good life. This is saying it over and over and over. You're meant to get to it. Whether this is a relationship, you know, as I say, financial freedom, whatever it is, you're meant to get to it. But there's a kind of a healing energy here. You need to know and use your gifts to understand how to heal. So then when we get to the alchemy of gold, which is the ultimate outcome of alchemy, so what alchemical transformative energy is around you achieving that? Solitude. Okay, yeah. It's not with others, at least initially. You could potentially have a great love or something eventually out of it if that's something that you're looking for, but this is a bit of a lonely road, but it's your road. So let's see the energy around solitude. Okay, sharing. Now that's interesting because it's almost an antithetical concept, solitude and then sharing. I think what this is saying is it's talking about a process. If you start with the solitude, eventually you are going to share in your communication with somebody else. But it's like you have to start with that, I think. So let's see the star energy around the solitude, around being able to do that before you then can share what came out of that and share what you've achieved. Gemini. Communication, again, is very important with this in some way. So communication, the mind, maybe needing to almost be two people sometimes, have one face for one group and one face for another or something like that. And Capricorn to bring, this is very, very clear. And it's what this is saying. It's like there's something about communication and the gifts, communication, healing, how you deal with others, the warning around that brings in the material outcome. This is a very strong indication that you're meant to materialize something for yourself. You're meant to manifest something, but there's just this a very strong warning as well about not to choose the wrong path. It's because if you really want to achieve it, it's kind of your path and you need to go the slower but more successful route. So let's finish with a card from the Practical Magic deck for something to help you bring all this together. Time for play, Woodland Queen. Like, that's interesting, all this sort of earthy energy. I think it's saying you've definitely got kind of natural sort of spirit guides around you, all of that kind of thing, definitely. It's interesting, I feel really drawn to seeing the sort of horns on the Woodland Queen's head and then the horns up on the Knight of Pentacles. There's something, I do think for many of you, this is going to bring in a very significant relationship if you aren't in one already. Or your significant relationship is the one thing that we'll see all the way through this. You've just got to kind of work out together how to get to the gold energy. And it's interesting, she's holding gold in her hand. So it is saying kind of enjoy it if you can. Like, don't be too earnest about it. If you've kind of realized something was just too good to be true and you're going the longer route, then have fun with it. Because that's going to actually help bring it in as well. Don't be too earnest. So don't worry too much about this because, as I said right at the beginning, you already know. This is just a confirmation of that and a promise if you act on understanding that rather than trying to talk yourself out of it. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.